Daldal, Season 1, Episode 5, Talaash. Recap and review. Episode 5 of Daldal starts with Anita waking up at the railway station from a nightmare that Sajid is dead. She also recalls seeing her mother singing her a lullaby to console her. The cops talk to a man who shares details of how he saved Sajid's life after he jumped onto the railway track. Anita calls Jatin to try to get some intel about Sajid. At the same time, Rita visits Sajid at the hospital. His doctor claims that Sajid has overdosed on drugs and will be under observation for the next 8 hours. Rita gives Vikram an earful about his involvement in the case and accuses him of having Sajid followed by his informant. That night, Vikram calls Sanjay, asking him to close the case now that Sajid is confirmed to be the killer based on the fingerprint scans. Anita meets Jatin outside his apartment the following day. She leads him on to get more intel about the case. At her quarters, Rita has a panic attack thinking about her mother. She tries to call her dealer to procure more drugs, but gets distracted when a local reporter calls her. The reporter claims that the news of Sajid being the murderer is making the rounds online. Anita reads the same news article and believes Jatin's intel is not an exclusive detail she can use for her article. Jatin reveals that the cops were also pursuing a man named Anant, who was Sajid's partner. Rita goes to her office and asks her team to write an article on how the cops have been conducting a shoddy investigation to pin the murders on an innocent drug addict like Sajid. Another reporter mentions Chandu Naik, which reminds Anita of the year 2015, when she went looking for Sajid in the slums where he lived. After her uncle beat Sajid up, he went to seek Chandu's help. Chandu tells Anita that Sajid is now at Prabhat's rehab. Sanjay calls Rita and congratulates her on solving the case. He tries to distract Rita by sending her to an interview, while Vikram forces the doctor to discharge Sajid so he can be arrested. Sajid is facing severe drug withdrawal. Rita tells Indu that the cops were trying to sabotage the case by blaming all of it on Sajid. She discusses the murder of Edward Fernando and that there were women's cosmetics at the all-boys orphanage. Rita realizes that the orphanage was housing a girl under the guise of a young boy. Both cops discuss the possibility of Edward being murdered by the girl that he was accused of assaulting and wonder if that girl is Anant. Indu checks the records from the orphanage and discovers 2 boys named Anant. She claims that one of the 2 Anants was never adopted. Rita drives back home and tries to figure out the details of the case that have stumped her. She gets back to the station and finds Vikram threatening and coercing Sajid to confess to the murders. Rita talks to Sajid about this and tells him that he should not take the fall for Anant. Sajid panics and confesses to all the murders to save Anita Anant. Indu calls Rita to inform her that Anant was taken to the orphanage by a foreigner, Lolita. She claims that there are no records or address details for the woman, but only a phone number registered under the name of a cop, Jay Acharya. The episode ends with Rita looking for police records about Jay and learning that a filmmaker was working on a biopic on the brave cop. At the same time, Anita shows up at Chandu's house to kill him. It is clear that Rita was raised by a narcissistic, emotionally unavailable, abusive mother. She suffered as a child, and this could explain why she resorts to smoking weed to calm her nerves. Rita is a troubled character, and we can see how Anita and Sajid are similar, broken, flawed characters. I can see why Rita tried to stop the peddler from being investigated for fear of being embroiled in the case or worse, losing her career due to her dependence on drugs on rare occasions. The episode ends with the introduction to Anita's mother, and we see another male police officer's name being brought up. I wonder what the cop's connection with Rita, or any other cop, would be, and how the character of Jay would contribute to what happened to Anita Anant as a child.